Hey, welcome into the arena. I did a video a few weeks ago about working with this little mare named Mouse with her muzzle, and I had several really good follow-up questions, and I want to try to address those today by just showing you the steps to teach a horse how to be bridled properly. One of the questions I got was a gentleman named Larry told me that his horse actually pulls his head all the way around to his shoulder on the opposite side to avoid him. And I had a mare that I trained about a year and a half ago, and that was really head shy, and she did that pretty badly in the beginning. What I had to do with her, and I've never done this with any other horse, because she was so bad about pulling her head away, I had to take my training stick, and every time she pulled her head away, I'd bump her right there on the jaw with that training stick until she bring her head back, which is pretty extreme, but that's what it took with that mare. You can go back and watch that video series if you like. It's called Kill Pin Mustang is the name of the series. And then I had another lady ask me, what about if the horse nips you while you're trying to put the bridle on? And my response to the nipping thing was, if it's just a nip, then what that horse is doing is he or she is just telling you, I don't like this, I want you to get away from me. Now, if they're being real aggressive and actually trying to bite you, then what I'd do is I'd start yielding their hindquarters. I'd start chasing their tail like this and put that horse to work if that horse was really being aggressive with me. But if they were just kind of nipping a little bit, I'd mostly just try to ignore that and just proceed, and I think that would probably go away. So, steps to teach your horse how to be bridled properly. All right, step one. And this is how, for you, if you're having any problems, go back and start from the very beginning. If you're having any problems bridling your horse, go back and make sure you can do these steps. I think there are 5 of them. First thing, can you flex your horse's head side to side like this? Okay? From both sides, can you just get your horse to flex their head around? And if you've not taught your horse to do this, typically what they'll do in the beginning is they'll start walking, and she might do that, she did a little bit, they'll start walking away from you. Let me just ask her to do it so I can show you. If they start walking, just follow them around like this until they stand still, and we'll let you flex their head pretty easily from side to side. If your horse does not know how to do that, you may have to work on that for a week or 2 to get it pretty good. That's first step, because if you don't have that, you're probably not going to have much, you're going to have a lot of trouble getting a horse to bridle properly. Next is to desensitize your horse's head and muzzle. Get them where they're okay with this kind of stuff here. Okay? Can you do this? Can you touch the air around them, all around them? And that's what I was working with her on the last video. She didn't want you touching her muzzle, and she's a lot better. See, she's not pulling away from me like she was. And if you have a horse that's touchy about an area like she was, you're probably going to use approach and retreat. So if they won't let you touch, say here, for example, then can you touch there? Can you come this far and then take it away? And can you go that far and take it away? Can you go that far and take it away? And you just gradually work your way down to be able to touch that horse and have that horse desensitized so that she's not afraid of me or my hands moving around her. Because if your horse is afraid of you, this isn't going to work very well, okay? That's the root of the problem, if the horse is afraid of you. And then the other reason is they might be afraid of the bridle. I'll address that here in a second. Okay, so step 3, after flexing is number 1, desensitize is number 2, step 3 is teach that horse to drop their head. And you can start off by doing it just using the halter, where you just put, and she's swatting at flies. Sorry, I forgot to put fly spray on her. You can start off by just putting some downward pressure on the halter, and she should drop her head. Now, they won't do it in the beginning. They won't understand. So you're just going to have to work with that. And when you reward the smallest change in the slightest try, that's always the thing when you're working with this kind of stuff. And if you first start off and that horse might throw its head around and do whatever, but even if they just accidentally drop their head that much, let go and then start over. Okay, can I get her to drop her head a little more? All right, and so see, she went all the way to the ground. She did not know this when she came to me a few weeks ago, so this is one of the things I've taught her. Once they can do it with the halter, then you should be able to do it with your hand, with your 2 fingers. And what I'll do there's a bump right here that's the top of their skulls, right between their ears, and right behind that bump is a lot of nerves right there and ligaments, and it's a pretty sensitive area. She's getting pretty close to you guys. Let me back her up a couple steps. Okay, and so I'll put my middle finger and my thumb right there and press down. If that doesn't work, you can use your fingernails. And again, reward the smallest change and the slightest try. You may have to work on this for several days to get this good. With that mare I mentioned that I had a year and a half ago, it was more like 2 months. She was one of the worst I've ever seen. And so depending on how bad your horse's problem is, it'll just take longer, but you just keep working on it until you can get that horse to drop their head. And because you've taught them to flex, now see, she's bent to the left like this. And she's moving around. Let me straighten her up so you can see what I want her to do. Okay, so when I drop her head to get ready for bridling, I want her to drop it and bend it toward me like that. There's the position. And, you know, with a young 2-year-old, will I bridle them without it being there? I will for a few times. But within the first week or two that I'm bridling them, they need to be able to do this. This is the proper position. And especially if you've got a big old 16-hand horse, if you don't have them doing this, you're going to have a real hard time. All right? So step 4, then, after you've got them to drop their head and put it in the right position, is to get them used to having a rope. Just use your lead rope. Put that lead rope in their mouth. You saw me do this on the last video if you watched it. Just put that lead rope in their mouth and get them used to that, and your fingers. I'll start off with my finger. Okay, in the beginning you'll just put it in and take it out. And I did it on the opposite side so you could see it. You want to be able to do it from both sides. So she's okay with that now. Okay. And I really haven't bridled this little mare very much because I discovered she has some teeth problems, so I've been riding her with a hackamore, so I haven't bridled her in several weeks probably. All right, now, proper way to put the bridle on. In the beginning, I'll leave the halter on. After the horse gets pretty good at bridling, I won't. But with a 2-year-old, and this one's a little older than that, I think she's 4, but she hasn't had a lot of training, later on I'll stop putting the halter on. But in the beginning I do it because if they pull away, I want to be able to make sure they know where I want their head to be. So step 1, put the reins around the horse's neck so that if that horse pulls away, you can pull it back. Now if you have a single rein, you might want to be a little careful about that. If they pull real hard, pull away, you could have a wreck. So you might want to just take your single rein and maybe loop it like that around their neck so it's a little safer. Okay, and next, pull this horse's head into the position, and then I want to be able to take that bridle and I want to capture that horse's nose like that. Okay, the reason I do that, she can't pull away from me. She can back up, but she can't pull her head to the right and pull away from the bridle once I get her nose captured. So the bit's actually under her chin there. Then I'm going to switch that bridle, the head stall, to my right hand. Bring my left hand down, pick up my bit, and then if I need to, and you will in the beginning, if I need to, I'll stick my thumb in their mouth to get them to open their mouth. Then I gently raise that bit into their mouth. Now, please don't just rake it over their ears, all right? You want to gently fold that ear forward and gently fold this ear forward. And this bridle doesn't fit her, it's way too big. Sorry, babe. And then, I'm going to take it off of her because it's a little too big. And then buckle your throat latch. The biggest thing you want to try to avoid, the biggest mistake people make in bridling, is when they put that bit in, they clank the horse's teeth with the bit. If you do that once or twice or 3 times, then that horse will be throwing its head up and running backwards because it hurts. Just the same as if you clank something like a metal spoon on your teeth. You know, you'd be doing the same thing. Okay? So those are the proper steps to bridle your horse.